Hey everyone, it's J-Belle, and this is Geeky Vices, where I ideally on a weekly basis talk about whatever random bits of pop culture I've been into lately. Um, this one's going to be a bit of a short one, hopefully, because I'm talking about a topic that if you watched any of my other videos, you probably have heard me mention at least once. I'm talking about, I've been watching yet again the Great British Baking Show, which, by the way, is the US name. The British name is the Great British Bake Off, but in the US, Pillsbury has like trademark copyrights on the term Bake Off, so they have to call it the Baking Show rather than the Bake Off. So they're the same thing, and they might accidentally use them interchangeably. Just know that they're the same thing. Um, so yeah, I'm in the middle of NaNoWriMo. I am ridiculously far behind, so I think I've only gotten a little over 3,000 words when the month is nearly half over, so lots of marathon sessions expected to happen, but there's still time. There's still time. I can do it. But this has been a really good show for me to relax. It's also, uh, there's been colds going on, and the air quality is terrible right now because I'm in California, and there's all the weird November fires, and yeah, hopefully rain will happen. But yeah, so the Great British Bake Off's been a good way for me to just veg out. And as I've said before, like I've rewatched the show many times. I've literally lost count how many times I've watched the show, let alone specific seasons. But in the past few weeks, Netflix has released the sixth collection for the Great British Baking Show, and then it's also released as a separate category, like a separate topic, the Great British Baking Show, the beginnings, where they released an earlier season, although it's not the first season. I have actually watched the first two seasons, and actually I think this is the third one that they just put up. Like I had watched that season before online. I believe it was probably Daily Motion or YouTube somewhere, but so it's not the very first season, which I was kind of a little bit disappointed about, but it's still cool to go back and see earlier seasons and have all the build up, and back when like the Hollywood handshake was still a new thing. But yeah, so that was fun. And then and of course every season I get new people. I get people I'm rooting for and really like with the beginnings season. I was really rooting for Catherine and Danny. Like those were my two favorites. Although I did like James a lot too. Like I mean, I'm okay. I'm not gonna reveal who wins, but I mean, I'm happy with who wins. But yeah, Catherine was like the person who I thought was gonna make it to the end, and like from the very beginning, like she's like, oh, okay, she's the person I'm rooting for. And then with the sixth collection, which I have no idea what the actual legitimate season is, they added the second season with Prue Leith as the replacement judge for Mary Berry, and with Noel and Sandy replacing Mel and Sue. Yeah, it was definitely a bit of an adjustment. I mean, I'm glad Paul Hollywood still involved the show, because I think like it would be really hard for the show to carry on with completely new cast members. But yeah, I will say I was okay with Prue Leith taking over for Mary Berry. I think Mary Berry's she's done her time. She's also an older woman, and I'm sure that she's probably has certain priorities in her life she wants to make right now. And Prue Leith actually was familiar with, because she was one of the judges for the Great British Menu, which is, if you like these type of reality cooking shows, like that one is amazing on Netflix. They currently have just one season, but it's basically all these top chefs across different parts of the UK competing by making it's a 4-course menu, and basically each episode will be like, it'll be episode 1 will be them doing the appetizers against with a total of 3 chefs from their specific region. Episode 2 they do a fish course. Episode 3 they do the main course, and then episode 4 they do the dessert course. And then the top 2 out of the top 3 gets picked by the mentor, who's like someone who's already succeeded in the competition, to then get passed along to the judges. And Prue Leith was one of the 3 judges, and they choose whose menu will go on to then compete for the final banquet, which the season that they have on was for the, I believe it was the 2012 Olympics, like the one that was held in London. So it was a really big deal. Like, it brought out, I think, a lot more big name, like Michelin-starred people than who usually compete. Not that I've seen any other seasons, but it definitely like felt like it was people definitely like really gunning for it because it was such a special occasion. So yeah, I saw Prue Leith be one of the judges for that, which, as I said, if you like the Great British Baking Show / Bake Off, Great British Menu is also a really good one. It's not quite as loving because it is actually professional chefs who are at the top of their game, but they're in a tense situation. Like, they're just really trying to compete their hearts out. So it's a bit more competitive and tense, but it's really cool bits of cooking that are just fun to watch and you learn. And I remember I usually appreciate Prue's comments the most out of the 3 judges. Like, she was usually the person like, okay, she seems like she's not mean-spirited and she's got something good to say. She has like a more balanced outlook versus like one of the guys I felt like just cared about if something was like flashy and new and just, yeah. Oliver, I think, was a little bit over the top, and then I can't remember the 3rd judge off the top. Anyways, reeling it back to the Great British Bake Off. Yeah, I do appreciate Prue as a new judge. I think she's a good replacement for Mary Berry. I think she is she has a skill and the knowledge, and I think she's provides a little bit of a kinder contrast to Paul, because Paul is such a harsh judge. She is very good about being diplomatic with her criticism, and like she's definitely very, very kind with the things that do deserve it. But when she is being critical, she's not being mean-spirited. She is being constructive. And I think also she has a more adventurous palette than Mary Berry did, because Mary Berry would sometimes like be a little bit shy away a bit from things, like if it was spicy, like spicy hot, or I know she didn't like coconut. So Prue, I think, is a little bit more of an adventurous judge. And then Noel and Sandy, they do fine. It's just, I love Mel and Sue. I especially love Sue, but like, I feel like some of the skits they do, I feel like they're a little bit too heavy-handed and over the top, and I feel like it's just, and I feel like it's a little bit too much of them being off on the side, like amusing themselves, rather than it being about them interacting with the bakers as much. So, and they are entertaining, and then they definitely do have the loving and the good sense of humor. So I mean, they definitely are good successors to Mel and Sue, because as I said, the big thing is like being loving and funny and witty, and also the fact that they don't have an extensive baking knowledge. Is basically, it's like they're neutral with everything. They can't give any advice. Helps, but yeah, I feel like they don't have quite the same level of chemistry as Mel and Sue, which makes sense, because I mean, Mel and Sue have quite a history together. Versus, I don't know anything about Noel's and Sandy's background, but Noel is like the friendly neighborhood goth, and Sandy is very well aware that she is on the shorter end of the spectrum, and that also they do make note of the fact that she does have Danish ancestry, and she speaks Danish. So props to anyone who is multilingual. I am very, very solidly monolingual. But yeah, the new season was a pretty good one. They had some pretty good challenges. There was definitely some like really surprise eliminations where I'm like being like, wait, that person's gone? I totally thought they're gonna make it to the end. Yeah, I will say that the person I was rooting for the most in the 6th collection was Kim Joy, because she is a geek. Like she'll have it so she has like, she talks about a trip to Japan, and she paints like this beautiful sunset, and they'll talk about how she makes baked goods for her and her boyfriend's board game night, and they actually met at a board game night, and he owns a comic book store. So I'm like, yes, tell me more about the geekdom. And then she'll do things like some of her, like I remember there was this fancy decorated bread that she had, so it was like it was decorated as like cats being around the edge, chasing a ribbon, and like there was fun cats there. And then another time it was like a wedding celebration cake dessert, and she made it so it was a cat wedding, and Prue made a comment about how, like, it must have been a shotgun wedding because there's all these kittens. It's like, no, it's the wedding guests. And then they have to do this chocolate globe, like one of those desserts where, like, there's a chocolate globe encasing a actual dessert, and you pour a hot sauce over it, and it kind of, like, melts and breaks away to do the grand reveal, which, honestly, meantime, I'd heard about before I was watching Zumbo's Just Desserts, so. Although I do believe I can definitely picture them becoming a more mainstream, like, trendy thing. Like, it doesn't look like, it definitely feels like it's something that restaurants are definitely going to be on the bandwagon doing if they haven't already. But, yeah, her thing was great because she made it that way it looked like it was, like, galaxy design on the outside, and then inside were little salted caramel, like, shoe turtle. So basically, like cream puff turtles for people who aren't familiar with what shoe pastry is. And so she basically had space turtles, where I'm like, yes, I love you. I want to be your friend if I ever go to England, which isn't going to happen. But if I did, I would want to be friends with you. So yeah, I'm really excited. I was really excited about her. I mean, there's some other really cool people. I mean, it's definitely one of the seasons where there's some people are, like, super inconsistent, like, how, like, they're super, super amazing moments, super low moments. And I will say that as far as the finale, it definitely was, like, the most balanced, because I'd never before seen it where it's like everyone had, like, the same number of star bakers going in. So that was actually kind of cool. Not to give spoilers, but I thought that was pretty cool at the end. And yeah, I don't know. It's a relaxing show. I learned something new. I don't bake much these days. Like, when I was a kid, I baked so much. Like, I remember in middle school, I remember waking up at, like, 5 or 6 in the morning to wake up and make, like, breakfast for my family. That was before I learned to value my sleep. But I would do, like, homemade waffles, and I would, like, make fruit or fruit salad, and I would do all this stuff. And, like, I would wake up really early to, like, just go all out making breakfast. Or, like, I would love to, like, we had a copy of the Mrs. Field cookie book, which I need to get a new copy of because that was an amazing dessert cookbook to make cookies. And I just used to do a lot of baked goods, and since as an adult, since there's only 2 of us, I don't bake as much, and also since my kitchen is tiny, I don't bake as much. And yeah, one of these days I will get back into baking. It just always makes me feel really inspired. There's always, like, some really cool things. So I'm like, I want to try that. Like, I want to learn how to make meringues. Like, I want to learn how to make all 3 kinds of the meringues, you know? I want to be able to master French, Swiss, and Italian meringues, even though I have no idea how any of them are supposed to turn out, like, how they're texturally different, but I want to learn. And I want to learn how to make bread. So, yeah. Let's hope that I don't get any gluten intolerances or allergies before I ever realize this passionate dream of mine, which who knows if it will happen or not. But yes, it is one of my I hope it happens someday type things. Kind of like how I always wanted to read, like, all the classic fantasy books. Like, I've always really wanted to read the iconic classic fantasy. Besides, like, obviously, like, Tolkien with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, I've always wanted to read, like, Alice in Wonderland, The Wizard of Oz, The Wrinkle in Time, The Golden Compass, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Like, I haven't read any of these, even though I do love fantasy, but, like, especially Alice in Wonderland and The Wizard of Oz and Chronicles of Narnia, because, like, these are worlds that, like, get referenced so much, and I've seen reborn over and over again. It's like, I feel like I know the worlds well enough that it's like, I want to see what the original source material is like. So, we'll see. I am finding it amusing how my hands are just blurs. So, yeah. Anyways, that's been my recent geeky vice. As I said, once again, it's me watching the Great British Bake Off. We'll see how many times as these videos go on, how many times I mention it. But so far, this is the first time it's in an official video, so very cool. All right. I hope you guys enjoy. Continue enjoying your own geeky vices. And until next time, bye.